in here. So we're going to have to live with the virus for months, possibly years. And that's going to change the material foundations of sociality. You know, it seems to me that that's the most profound contribution of actor network theory, as it's called, to sociology, which is to say that sociality, social relationships, are not relationships among naked human beings conducted with their naked bodies and their voices alone. Now, of course, there are small sectors of social relationships that do have that nature, but most social relationships, most of the time, are not like that. They have material foundations. There's a giant unplanned experiment going on in changing the material foundations of sociality for, by no means the entirety of the world, numerically, almost certainly a small minority of the world, but still a minority numbered in hundreds of millions of people. And it's a certain kind of experiment in actor network theory, in the validity of actor network theory, so to speak. If you change the material foundations, then you should expect change in the nature of sociality. So that seems to me, in a certain sense, the most fascinating thing going on currently that's pertinent to those sort of issues.
Yeah, very much. There's something also that's happening. Think about the week in which we're talking here, that this change of the material conditions, we are worried about our safety in ways that we had not been before the existence of this virus, the change in our routines of life, where we work, where we are, how we communicate, everything has broken the sort of basic glue in society that things are of the natural order. And I think that's one of the powerful things that's happening right now in the United States. That, I mean, as thinking of the widespread protests that we're seeing in the news everywhere, is that if things are really going to be different, let's fix what's broken. If it's really going to not be the same, well, then why does it have to be the bad same? Let's, there's this moment, this possibility. So I'm not saying this virus has done us a favor by any means, but the changing material conditions also is changing the kind of expectations that maybe people have about what is society, how does it work, how changeable is it? If things can really change, then
no, that's absolutely right. And here I'd have to say, I think billions of people, not just hundreds of millions, have changed the way they live their lives to a degree that was unthinkable back in January.
Yes.
Hey, we're still only early June. And you're quite right that we can suddenly start to ask, well, if a change that big was possible, there's plenty other stuff that could do with changing where things would not have to be as extreme in terms of the change to make a difference. And I mean, the most obvious one is global warming. That we've known for decades that we got to change the way we live if we were going to mitigate global climate change, and we could mitigate it by changes that are significantly more modest than the ones we've all pretty much voluntarily undertaken in the last 3 months.
Mhm, mhm. I think Albert Hirschman, was it? He had this idea of possibilism. He thought that one of the limitations of political science and economics is they didn't give enough attention to possibilities.
Yeah.
And this one, if that much change was possible, then maybe there are other things that are possible as well. Yeah.